Welcome back, everyone. I'm Leila.
And I'm Laura.
And this is For Your Penjoyment, a show about fountain pens and the joys they bring us.
Brought to you by Pen Boutique.
So how are you doing today, Laura?
I'm in the middle of a new obsession again.
Oh, gosh.
And it's a blog article again.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Do tell.
I feel like this is my all-time favorite blog article.
Wow.
I am really, really, really into it. I'm really enjoying writing it. And I can barely pull myself away.
Can you give the people a hint of what it is about?
Yes. It is about attainable Urushi lacquer pens from Pilot/Namiki.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, ones that you don't have to have tons of money to buy.
Sure.
You might have to save up for them, but I could buy one if I really wanted it.
I love this concept.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And it's so interesting. And it's just that I just love these pens so much. So I'm just so into it because I really, really personally love them. And I'm so excited about it. And one of the pens in the article is my Ishime.
Very nice.
I was thinking back about this pen. The first time I ever found out about the Ishime was the first time Bill ever visited our store.
Very nice.
It wasn't for an event. He just came to see the store. And I hadn't been working here very long. And he told us about the Ishime. And I immediately thought it was just so cool. And I never thought I would actually own one.
Right.
But I did eventually get one. And
That's
I really
cool.
thought it was a cool pen, all that time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of part of what the article is about.
I'm looking forward to reading it. It's going to be a good one.
I'm so into it. It's ridiculous. The other cool thing is we taught the seminar at the Baltimore Pen Show.
That we did.
Oh my gosh.
We got through it.
We did it.
With relative ease, I would say.
Yeah, I wasn't super nervous or anything. It wasn't up there, hands shaking.
Exactly.
I kind of psyched myself up, and I went out there, and I just, acted like I was really cool and kind of used posture, I know what I was doing. I mean, I did know what I was talking about, but I'm not someone that... I never imagined I would, be speaking in public in front of a big group like that. That's so not me. But I just believed I could do it, and I went and did it, and we got really positive feedback.
We certainly did.
We really did.
I'm really proud of us.
Me too.
Yeah.
It was so great doing it with you. It was really special.
Definitely.
And I especially loved when people asked us questions.
Yes.
It was so great, just being able to... I love that we were able to answer questions, but I also really loved that I think people came away from it feeling excited about pens and not intimidated.
I mean, we had that one gentleman who was there to buy his first pen at the pen show.
Exactly.
He was super stoked after
A few of the people commented that we kind of demystified pens and made them feel
more accessible,
comfortable and accessible. And that's really what I think was wonderful that we were able to convey. That's
what we set out to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
What about you? You have a lot of cool stuff going on.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, you know what? I do.
Let's hear it.
Let's see. So my sister is back in town for spring break, so I'm very excited to have her back.
Back in town from where?
From LA.
Okay.
She's in grad school at USC. I'm very happy to have her and spend some quality time with her.
That's great.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Let's see. What else? I am editing an article that I'm intending to publish.
What?
I told myself this would be the year that I publish something.
Wow.
And I've written an essay. And I'm not in the final stages of editing. I'm in my second round of edits. I'm not comfortable yet, but I'm going to be. And then I'm going to shop it around and see who wants to publish it.
Did you write it with a fountain pen?
I certainly did. Oh my God. First draft fountain pen, then everything else has been computer.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. I'm also going to a show tomorrow night in D.C.
What kind of show?
Well, a rock show. I'm going to see one of my favorite bands perform. Very excited to do that.
Are you going to do headbanging and stuff?
It's not that kind of rock show. It's a little more mellow, more chill.
shimmy around.
Oh, so there will certainly be shimmying.
Okay. We
For
want some
sure.
shimmying. Check it off the bingo card. Yeah.
And then lastly, I've been mulling this over for quite some time now.
What?
I think I'm going to start my own YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned to me that you wanted to do that.
Yeah, I want to
Oh, my gosh. That's
document.
really exciting.
Yeah, I want to document this process of like getting published.
Cool.
And I think like, I'll talk about fountain pens as well.
Yeah.
But I want this period of my life to be documented.
Wow.
So
Did you think of a name for your channel yet?
It would be the same as my Instagram. It would be Leila Might Write.
Okay.
And
but Leila is writing.
We'll get there.
All right.
We'll get there. We're still in the might phase, but I think I'm going to really do it.
That's so exciting. I'm really happy about that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping to film my first installment this week.
Cool.
And we will see what happens.
And you'll share on your Instagram where we can watch it and everything.
Certainly.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So, what pen are you using today?
Well, okay, I cheated again. I'm not really using my Ishime, but I have it here because I love it. And I'm comparing it to the texture of my new mug.
You do like texture.
And that I got from my friend Kim's daughter, Allie, at the pen show. She's really talented.
Super talented.
Really, really cool.
I love this mug.
Yeah, it's a little rougher than the Ishime.
Cat tongue.
Tiger tongue.
Tiger tongue, yeah.
Tiger tongue.
I love that.
Isn't it cool?
I know you're one for texture, so I'm sure it's pleasant.
It's smooth on the inside because it's glazed only on the inside.
Cool.
And it's made out of local Maryland clay. You know, that orange clay?
Yeah.
Brown's really hard to do.
There's plenty of it.
That's what it's made out of, and I just love that.
I love that.
Look at the color. I love the color. It's like really weird, ambiguous, kind of orange and purpley mauve at the same time.
Yeah. And some bits of indigo in there.
It's so cool. It's fascinating. I really like it. Anyway, the pen that I was really using, actually just refilled my Ishime because I used it up. But I got a pen at the show.
Oh, snap.
I got a vintage pen.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not into vintage pens, but I went to the show wanting to look. If I found one, that was great. If I didn't, that was fine too.
Right.
But a vintage Pelican with a flexible nib.
Love that.
Because I heard that the vintage ones sometimes have really flexible nibs.
Sure.
And I went to a few different tables that were just like overwhelming. They had a zillion Pelicans. I started looking at them. I was just like, help, I can't. There's too many here.
Understood.
And then I went up to this one guy and his wife. He was really nice and friendly. His name was F. Felix Tarasco or something like that. It was just a really low-key, nice guy. I started talking to him, and I was telling him, like, I really love Pelicans, but these other people have so many, and I don't know what to do.
Right.
And he said, well, I only have one Pelican, and it's a flex nib, so I can't write with it very well. And I was like, what? Let me see it. And it was this pen. It was exactly what I was looking for. I love it. It's a 140, which is from the mid-1950s.
How cool.
And it's like an extra fine, and it's flexible.
Love
so it
that.
gets tons of line variation.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of my FA nib
right.
on my Pilot Custom 743, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm shocked by how fine it is. Like modern Pelican extra fine is not really that fine. This is finer than a Japanese extra fine.
Whoa.
It's so fine. It's
That's
really fun
cool.
to play with. It's really neat. And I was never really into vintage, but I'm not going to get really into vintage. I know I like modern pens better, but this is a special edition of my
Great find.
I'm excited.
What a great find.
Yeah. What pen are you using, Leila?
Well, I too am using something I acquired at the pen show. I have my first Visconti here.
It's so beautiful.
It's from the Van Gogh collection.
Yes.
It is based on the painting The Novel Reader.
Hey, that's a cool name because you are
it.
a novel reader.
The painting is beautiful. The pen is equally beautiful. We had this in the store, but I wanted to find the right color pattern because they're all so unique and different. And when I went to the Visconti table, the Cold of London table, they had this on display with a fine nib. I wanted it. So it's mine. Thank you, Kendra and Mark, for helping me see the way. You have a new Visconti fan. And I can't wait to see what I acquire next.
My favorite thing about those Van Gogh pens is the facets.
Yes.
Like when you turn it in your hand
It's
and it
so
catches
pleasant.
the light. And the feeling of
The
that
feeling.
against your fingers.
Definitely.
Touch it.
Of course.
Oh my gosh. Turn it around a little bit.
There you
Oh,
go.
I love that. Oh, that's so cool.
It's really satisfying.
That's really pretty.
Yeah,
oh, I'm so happy for you.
Great addition to my collection.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Leila.
So being at the pen show this weekend was pretty darn cool.
Yes, it was.
You know, on Saturday we had the team with us. We had Christy and Shreya.
Yeah.
They were passing out little swag bags.
They were.
Christy handmade these little quote cards.
That she calls something something.
Something something.
But I call them something something.
She handmade like 30 something of them.
Yeah, she used fountain pen ink, watercolor, and
show yours as an example.
They're so beautiful, and each one is totally unique.
Mm-hmm.
And she let me choose mine. So if you came up to her at the show, you could ask for a something something or something as I call it, and she would just give you one.
Yep.
And they probably suited you, but she let me choose, and this was the one I picked out, and I really like what it says.
In a gentle way, you can shake the world. By Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah.
That is very you.
I thought so.
I love the one I picked. I forgot it at home. Aww. It's on my bedside table.
I'll bring it another time.
I'll bring it another time.
I really like the colors in this too.
She's so talented.
It's so pretty.
Yes.
It's just
the
perfect.
blending of colors is wonderful.
Yeah. The show was really special. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about pen shows.
Yeah.
Especially for people that watch our show but have never been to a pen show. And It's kind of hard to imagine what a pen show's like if you've never been to one.
Right. There are several different types of people at pen shows.
A lot of different types of people. And some of the worlds overlap and some of them don't. And it's just so cool. And I feel really honored that I've gotten to know people in a lot of different
capacities and worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel really lucky about that because I don't think everybody that goes to pen show can experience these different worlds.
Sure.
You know, like I've gotten to know some of our pen reps really well. I've gotten to know some of the vintage people.
Yeah.
And that happened because the very first time I went to a show, I made friends with Kim, the person whose daughter made this mug, and she knew some of these vintage guys and introduced them to me. And I don't think I would have approached them otherwise, but because I had that introduction, I was able to kind of put my feet into a world that normally I would be a little intimidated by.
Exactly.
And it's really cool. And you've become really good friends with Bart.
Yeah. When I started in this business with Pen Boutique, I was really only familiar with like major manufacturers. I hadn't really explored or investigated the world of indie makers.
Same, and I don't know anything about indie stuff. I think it's so cool that you do.
The more I explored, the more I realized their pens fell into my wheelhouse of sparkly and swirly. And the fact that they were hand-turned by people I could talk to just made it such a novel concept to me. So I started just buying as many as I could, and then I would do a special nib grind for that pen to make it doubly special. I got to meet Bart, for example, from Zodiac Pen Company. He was wonderful.
And then there are people at the shows who are just collectors that love pens so much they might travel around the country and go to more than one pen show, not just the one local to them. Exactly. And they've become really well known, and they've made friends that they see again and again at
and
these
they've
pen
built
shows.
like a social media presence based around that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of penfluencers out
Exactly.
there.
The people like Clare Coco.
Exactly.
And these people are people that are well known in the pen community, but like some people, if you're in one part of the community, you might not know people that are in another part of the community.
Right. And I think thanks to Pen Boutique, we can navigate within, like, between all the spaces.
I think it's so
and
cool that
meet, like, everyone.
We've gotten to know such a broad range of the whole community, and it's such a special community and such a cool community.
Exactly. So we wanted to take a snapshot of that and share that with you folks.
Yeah.
As we mentioned earlier, you may interface with some penfluencers at pen shows.
Yeah.
Laura was able to sit down with the one and only Clare Coco.
Clare Coco.
And talk to her. And
really a special lady.
She's really a special lady.
So, she's so unique and just, again, loves pens so much.
And she just exudes that love.
Just exudes it. And she's the ultimate penfluencer. She just, shares that love, influences people, gets people excited. That's what we're all about.
Her YouTube reviews are great. Her Instagram presence is great.
Yeah.
So the fact that she was willing to come on our show and talk to Laura, we felt very honored, very special to have her.
It really did. And it was also so cool having her tour the store before she came on an interview.
Definitely.
It was wonderful. Just
our charming little shop.
Yep.
Yep. So let's take a look at that conversation.
Thank you so much for coming to visit Pen Boutique, Clare. We are really excited to have you here.
I'm very excited that you asked me. I think it's pretty cool. I couldn't wait to come. I only slept 2 hours last night. Seriously, it was like a little kid. Because, I love coming to pen shops.
I know you do.
In South Florida, there's nothing, and besides the fact that I wanted to see you and I wanted to thank you in person for the amazing article you did.
Thank you so much. It was a total pleasure to write that article.
You really told the story beautifully.
Interviewing you.
Yeah. So thank you for asking me to come today.
Yeah, so if viewers don't know, I wrote a blog article interviewing Clare about her David Oscarson pen. And it was a really moving and special article. We'll talk about it a little more later.
Yeah.
Clare, you and I met at the DC Pen Show last year, right?
Yep.
And it's the first time you coming here, but
yes, and I've ordered stuff online and talked to both you and Leila on the phone and stuff, and so I was just more excited to come into the store.
And to have Peter, your husband, here with us.
Yeah,
too.
so
Really
he was very cool about coming. He said, so he's out there though. He said, I'm not going on camera.
That's okay. That's okay. So for people that don't know you, I mean, you're fairly well known in the fountain pen community, but a lot of our viewers may be new people that don't know you. You are a well-known collector and penfluencer. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do, like social media, etc.?
I try to do a lot with social media. I have a YouTube channel.
Cool.
And trying to get my videos done. I've just had a few little setbacks with getting more content out there because of surgeries and stuff. But I love doing that, and I try to, on my Instagram, and I do a lot with showing my pens and talking about pens. There's just something about them. It just brings us joy.
Yes.
It's something that my husband and I both do together. We, we had a tragedy of little over 5 years ago, and as we will know, I'll talk about my daughter. She passed away 5.5 years ago, and at the time we just were drifting. Not, something like that happens. Our bond got stronger and closer. And we found fountain pen community, and then we started collecting fountain pens, and it's something that we both enjoy together. So we have the yours, mine, and ours.
Okay, I love that.
And it's so funny because even when we go to the shows like at DC and stuff, we try to set a limit or say, we're going to be good. We've learned lessons at pen shows. The very first pen show that we ever went to was DC 2 years ago.
Wow, that was your first show.
That was the very first pen show, and you kind of see all these pens, and you memorized, and you buy everything. I like that one, or he likes that one.
Yeah.
And then we get home, and it was like, you know, we need to like learn more and like learn what we really like.
Yes.
So I'm not saying that they were mistakes; they were lessons learned.
And that happens to
which is
everyone
great.
in the fountain pen community. You know, even if you start with a Pilot Metropolitan and you're learning, you know, up to $100 level pen, don't necessarily own the amazing pens you own, but everyone, as they go along, they discover what appeals to them most. They make mistakes, and
Right.
that's just part of the process.
Well, what was interesting is we were out one day and we went to a Christmas concert at the Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida.
Yeah.
And there was a jewelry store that sold Mont Blancs. And Peter bought me my first Mont Blanc fountain pen, which was the Marilyn Monroe.
Ooh.
But we ordered it because I wanted it in medium and they only had the fine.
Mm-hmm.
And across the hall was a little kiosk that sold Lamis.
Okay.
And I said, oh, this is cute. And I could get used to using fountain pens again. I used to do calligraphy and stuff, but that was a little bit different than the whole fountain pens.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Growing up, my mother had a Parker fountain pen on her desk, and I would like steal that and write with that. So anyway, I bought the Lamy while I was waiting for the Maryland to come in.
Just a regular Safari or something?
Yeah, red Lamy Safari.
That was Lena's first.
The red Lamy Safari. It still sits on my desk. It was my first official, like, getting back into fountain pens again.
Yeah.
And my husband and I fought over that pen.
That's
and I said, you know what, this is ridiculous.
pen.
I'm going to go buy his own Safari, right?
Yep.
I'm going to buy a pen that speaks to me.
Yes.
So
same.
Yeah.
And you love all different brands, you were saying.
I do. I have, of course, David Oscarson, and then, Visconti, Monte Grappa, Pilot, Sailors. I have I love the KOPs.
You're really the king of pens now.
The king of pens, yes. And I actually, at the shows, I volunteer, and I love my Leonardos, I love my Scribos, and at this show, I'll be going between the Tasha table, helping them out, and I actually do some stuff with Tasha, like in Chicago. I'll be out at their table the whole time. And I'm helping out another friend at his table at the Baltimore pen show. So it's kind of neat. Yeah. And you figure helping out at shows, you're not going to buy, you're not going to buy as much, right?
Oh, yeah,
sure. No. I can peruse a room, just peruse it really quick. And I'm like, okay. But I got to think about it. And that's what I've learned. I'll go look at a pen. I'll think about it, take a picture of it, walk around some more, walk around. If it's still there when I go back, then it was meant to be. So
fair.
That's the way I look at it. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. Yeah. So yes, and meeting, I've met a lot of great people.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's talk a little bit more about pen shows and why you love them so much. You go to a lot of pen shows,
I go a lot,
don't you?
and it's the camaraderie.
Yes.
The best part of a pen show is after.
I agree.
We all get together.
Yes.
We pull out the pens that we purchased. We bring pens that we use to show our friends, and we sit and write. We journal, and that's the camaraderie behind it. And we all just have a blast. We just did Philly, and then I went to California, and then now we're here.
Yeah. And what's your next one after?
After this, I'm going to Chicago Stationery Fest.
Oh, and then DC is coming up, of course.
After Chicago, I'm going to after the Stationery Fest, it's Atlanta.
Okay, nice.
And after Atlanta, I go to New York to help out at the Fountain Pen Hospitals having their
nice.
They're having their spring show or
Sure,
whatever.
with a whole bunch of different.
Yeah, so I go up and help
there.
out, and then Chicago Pen Show, and then that will be it for a little while because I have to have hand surgery.
Okay.
And it's the right hand. It's the writing hand. I need joint reconstruction, so it's like right now it's okay, but if I overuse it, that's when in writing.
So now you're
so sometimes I find some pens.
Your left
now.
hand, you told me.
I'm
right?
practicing with my
That's
left hand. It looks
cool.
really good.
I love
it's
that.
coming along good. But I noticed with some pens, if it's a little weightier, actually it kind of helps because I'm not putting so much pressure on a lighter pen, I guess.
Okay.
Or depending on the girth of the pen.
Yeah.
So now until I have the hand surgery done, I have to baby it somewhat. cool.
Speaking of pens, you brought a few of the pens from your collection, and we have a few stunt pens here, pens that you own but you didn't bring with you.
Right.
So let's talk about some of the pens that you have
so
in
the
your
first
beautiful
one
collection.
is, because of the article you did, is the Oscarson pen.
You have the saffron colored one,
Yes,
right?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. My daughter loved Ganesh, Lord Ganesha,
Yes.
and I bought her a pendant, and she never took it off.
Mm-hmm.
And she also had a tattoo down her arm. Yeah. And what happened was at the DC show, my husband's like, Claire, can you step away from the table? I need you to come with me before, I need to show you something. Mm-hmm. So he brings me over to David Oscarson's table and get introduced to David. And
that was the first time you met David.
That's the first time I met David. Wow. And my husband says, pick out any pen you want. Yeah. And because he knew. He knew which one you were going to pick. The first case I saw the Celestial, and I love the Celestials. Those are so beautiful. And I'm like, I really like this one. And then I go to the next case, and I said, no, this is the pen, because I buy pens for a reason sometimes, if it brings back a memory, and happy memories. Yes. Happy. So this was just a happy memory for me. And when I used the pen, and yes, I have used it. Oh, wow. I just absolutely love this pen. Yeah. The work that goes behind, if you haven't seen the video and the work that goes behind, the video on David Oscarson's website. It's amazing. Because depending on the color he uses in the pen, like the purples have to be in the kiln longer, and it's all a layer process. It's just the workmanship that goes. Right, so these all have the guilloche engraving on the sterling silver pens. And they're made in a hot kiln. It's like ground glass that's turned into enamel. So it's amazing. And it's the same factory that does, I'm going to say the name wrong. It's a jewelry company. Oh, yeah. Winton Hall. I forget. I think it's in my article, but I can't remember. It's like, it's the same, and it's the same process even with the jewelry. Yeah. So when you have that pen at home and you take it out and look at it, it makes you think about Alexandra. Right? Yeah, it does. Brings back memories. Happy memories. Yeah. Happy that she never took the pendant off, and she just loved like elephants, the Lord Ganesha, all that. She just was into that. So whenever I see stuff, there was a hand-painted elephant fountain pen I got from Lotus, and it's just absolutely beautiful. All lacquered, hand-painted, and it's a mother and child elephant. And I saw it. And Kurt Spears did a nib for me, and on the nib, it's an elephant with the trunk up. He engraved it with, and it's like so cute. It's beautiful. This is my newest one, so and pretty. It's inked with, believe it or not, Waterman's Tender Purple. I love that. Yeah, I saw that on your Instagram. It's one of my favorite inks. And it just writes beautifully. So this is the Pierrot and Pierrette. Which is characters from Italian theater. Yep. So pretty. I love the Art Deco on there. It's so pretty. And the little tiny diamonds. Yes, the little diamonds. And it's just so beautiful. It's just absolutely, I love that it's not, that it has ridges on the section. Oh, yeah. So it's like little more grippy. It helps you get better grip on it. It's a little bit more grippy. And I tell you, his nibs are just amazing. And these are broad. I got broad nibs. I like broad nibs. I love the colors in this kind of mauve-y, pinky color. And it's almost like a purplish blue. It's gorgeous. Yeah. Really a blurple? Blurple. One of Leila's favorite words. Yes. Blurple. We got blurple. And then I also have the Van Gogh. And this was another cool thing. When I was at Visconti, they had it in pieces. And what I mean is like the underlayers, in their showroom. In their showroom to show people what the steps were into going to build the pen and the layers. Oh, yeah, wow. And the layers. Because that's like a lost wax silver casting technique. Did it show how they did that? They just have some of the pieces there and they talked about it. That's so cool. And it's so funny because each one is different. Yes. Like the color and texture and everything. A little bit of the texture, but one of my sons looks like it has a smiley face on it. What? Oh, yeah. So cool. This one does it, but divine one, but just I
love
love the texture.
I love the texture on that too.
And the amount of work with the brass and the silver that's on
so
there.
Cool.
It's a very cool pen.
See the individual brush strokes on there.
It's very heavy.
Very heavy.
The cap weighs just as much as the body, right? But it's not too bad. And I use Visconti turquoise in that.
Ooh.
It's very cool.
Very nice.
And, of course, I'm a Mont Blanc girl.
Oh, of course.
I love Mont Blancs. I did not bring the Jane Austen with me. Instead, because the newer one is that I got in was the Great Gatsby.
The Great Gatsby.
Yeah, the Great Gatsby is,
I love this
like,
one.
oh, it's wonderful. And, of course, I have Gatsby ink in there. If I like the matching... you know, for the pen, then I will use it. But yeah, it happens to be a great color. And I just, on here is on the nib, which you won't be able to see, but it is the Rolls Royce on the nib, which is kind of cool.
That famous Rolls Royce.
Yes. And, you know, the clip is different because it's supposed to be a money clip.
I didn't know it was supposed to be a money clip.
And you know another cool thing is?
Glow in the dark.
It glows in the dark.
Yes.
It glows in the dark.
So
you
cool.
if you put light on it and wait a few minutes, it just glows in the dark.
When we first got that in, I went in the dark room and tried it.
It glows in the dark. So I forgot who told me this. I think it was Kirk. Kirk told me. Kirk
Spears.
Kirk Spears, yeah. And so then I had to show everybody, and they're like, "No way, that's so cool!"
Yeah, it was really cool.
So I love.
I think Kirk bought that from us when he visited the store, actually.
Yep, he has a great collection too.
Yes.
He's a great guy.
He really is.
I love Kirk. And I also love my sailors.
Yes, you were
so I have
about how you're
Sunlight
super into
from
King of Pens now.
Yeah, King of Pens, or like I say KOP.
KOP.
I do like shimmerings.
Okay.
Okay, and because it's so sparkly, I'm very careful though. If I will wash it, I'll use it for a little bit and wash it out and really clean it right away, especially on these pens. But this does deserve a shimmer. You know, it does a little shimmer. I'm careful with the particles, and I think I got Diacromentis cyan, blue, silver. I think it's beautiful.
And this is the sunlight from the ocean floor.
Sunlight from the ocean floor. And we have a few that, a lot of these pens that in my collection, from right here at Pen Boutique.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and then Pilot. So I just brought a few, and this one's the Jaguar, which is the limited edition.
Right, that's the limited, only one. It's numbered, right?
It's numbered. Yes, it's numbered. If I don't have readers,
sterling silver.
The sterling silver, it is numbered.
And those were discontinued.
Yep,
so they're
330 out of 560.
We still have a few of those left, but not very many because they've been discontinued.
And I didn't know whether I was going to like it or not, and I fell in love with it. I love that inlaid
nib.
The nib, the inlaid nib is just amazing.
So cool.
And it's very cool.
It's
and
so
I actually
smooth,
have
too.
Pure Pens, which is a company out in the UK, and it's called Black Pool Rock. It's like a pinky mauve, pinky more on the pinky fuchsia side.
That's what you have in there?
That's what I have in here. It's kind of cool.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it's very cool. So this is just a little bit, to come play with at the pen show with my friends.
Oh my gosh, I'd love to see your whole collection. Well, thank you so much, Claire. I really loved having you on to the show, and thank you for visiting Pen Boutique and talking with me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the show. Friday. I'll see you on Friday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh
my gosh,
that's
right?
tomorrow. Tomorrow's the start of the show.
I have to pack tonight, but okay.
So you're staying at the hotel?
I am staying at the hotel. I love to just immerse myself and do all the after-hours stuff and everything.
Oh, that's so much fun.
You.
Oh,
yeah.
And then you guys are having your...
we are having our seminar on Saturday.
That's very cool.
That's right.
Very
it's
cool.
Our first time. We're a little nervous.
You guys are great together. You and Leila are great together. I think you're going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I love watching. I love watching YouTube and stuff too.
Thank you.
And thank you for having me. This was very exciting, and it was great. I'm just very happy about it. It's
our pleasure and honor to have you here. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
it was really cool getting to know Claire through that interview.
It really was.
She's a really special person.
I always look forward to seeing her at a show and
just for a hello and a hug.
Yeah, she was everywhere at the Baltimore show. It was
Yeah.
wonderful seeing her.
Definitely. Again, there's also indie makers. I got to sit down and talk with Bart Conner from the Zodiac Pen Company, a company I have come to know and love. I love that there are pen models named after zodiac signs. I love the little details about that. I love that someone cared enough to make a Scorpio model, a Pisces model. Like, it's charming to me. It's delightful to me. And he and I started conversing through messages on Instagram.
Wow!
And when I found out he was coming to Baltimore, I'm like, "Can I interview you? Let's just do this.
Wow!
Let's meet. Let's talk. I'd love to know more about you."
Very cool.
Yeah. So again, I was in the hotel. He was able to sit down with me, and let's take a look at that. Hey, pen friends, Leila here. I hate to come in with an editor's note, but I have to admit I did not do my due diligence in this next interview. I didn't check to make sure his microphone was working, so that's on me. So I included subtitles for this interview. Hopefully that'll clarify some things. Take care. Hey everyone, I'm here with Bart Conner, otherwise known as Zodiac Pen Company. How are you doing today, Bart?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well as well. I'm so glad to have you sitting down with me and taking this time. Bart is my face of all the indie makers here.
That's scary.
Not scary at all. My first question is this: how long have you been making pens?
Fountain pens, I've been doing about 2.5 years. So yeah, January was my official 2-year anniversary of Zodiac, and I had a 6-month trial and error before I officially had a Zodiac pen company.
Very cool. So, what got you into making pens?
Well, I started. I've always, I've always been a tinker, and I picked up wood turning just by watching some YouTube videos, and thought it was really cool and just watching it, and it was relaxing. So I bought a lathe and I started wood turning, mainly doing bowls, that kind of stuff, and my dad had asked me to make a fountain pen to give to his doctor, his oncologist, and well, I did, but I used some kit pens, and they just didn't turn out the way I wanted them to. Okay. And my local turning group, I was friends with our president, so I reached out to him and told him what I was running into, and he said, "Let me give you the name of a guy. Call him and get with him, and maybe he can help you." So he did. I called. It was Jonathan Brooks.
Oh, no way.
So Jonathan and I are about 2 hours apart, and I explained the situation. Jonathan was super welcoming. He said, "Come down, we'll spend the day." And so I went down to spend the day, and I had so much fun. Here I am.
I love that. Very cool. So, what is the inspiration behind the Zodiac Pen Company?
I've always been, I wouldn't say deep into the Zodiacs, because my customers, like, people come to my table and ask me questions that I can't answer, but sure. I've always paid attention to similarities with people's signs and their character traits. And so when this all started, I'm a Gemini, and so when this all started, I thought, I'm gonna be Gemini Penworks. And so I pitched that to a couple people, and they're like, okay, well, that sounds cool. And one day I just had the idea. I was like, well, if I did Zodiac Penworks, then I could create a different model for each Zodiac, taking an inspiration, whether it be out of the sign or a character trait, out of that Zodiac. That would be a good way just to reach my customers, because they could relate on a personal level. And everybody told me I was crazy. They said, "Oh my God, you're limiting yourself. There's only 12 zodiacs, and there's no independent maker that has 12 pen models.
That's true.
Most people have 3. Some people have 4. So the fact that I have 9 currently is insane, and I've got 2 that will come out this year.
Really?
Yes, Leo and Libra.
You're just leaving Aquarius out to dry.
No, I know what Aquarius is.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk off camera.
We'll talk off camera then.
Aquarius is planned out in my mind. It's just not on. It's not on paper, and it's not in pen form yet. But I know what I want you to be.
I understand. I will wait. I will wait as patiently as possible. I promise. So, how long have you been doing the pen show circuit?
DC in 2023 was my first pen show, and which is crazy to think that the first pen show would be the biggest pen show in the world. And I had no expectations. I didn't know what to expect. I came in blind. It was fun, and I've been trying to do as many shows since. So I think this year I'm slated for 8 or 9 shows.
That's awesome.
Which work full time too, and that's kind of crazy.
Whew. How do you find balance between the two?
Right now, there really isn't. Right now, there's no balance. It's everything is. I literally if I have 10 minutes, I think if I can just go drill a cap, if I can go drill a section or a body, that's something I won't have to do tomorrow.
There you go.
Everything that I have, I put in.
That's awesome. Out of curiosity, what was your first pen model?
Gemini.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm sorry.
Because
sorry.
I do
You're
have
the
a little
Gemini.
bit of an ego. So
I love it.
Gemini was first.
Okay.
And it was basically what I liked in a pen.
Yeah.
And that was the way it started. I liked a little bit larger pen, and I was seeing a lot of smaller fountain pens. My Gemini is a 14 millimeter, and the barrel and the cap are flush. So to do that, basically you just have to make the barrel bigger.
Yeah.
The caps are going to be what they are, but you make the barrel bigger, and then I said, well, it needs to be male and feminine for the sign. So I tapered it on the ends to soften it, to give it the feminine, and it's actually very popular with females. They they like that shape, they like that feel.
I really like that interpretation. The way
that was how it all came about.
Very cool.
But Gemini was first.
Now, do you have a most popular pen model?
Right now, Cancer is my most popular. That is my first clipped pen. It's if you look at the sign, it's the crowd. So that was the inspiration for it. If you look at my pen, it's bulbous on the cap and on the bottom, which is symbolic of the 2 circles.
Sure.
And I clipped it. Some people say it's Scrivo-ish, but I put it next to a Scrivo, and they look totally different. But the concept is similar in the fact that it's pinched in the middle, and the cap and the barrel are bulbous shape, but it's by far popular.
I love the intention that you put into these designs. That's wonderful.
It's like Sagittarius has the pointed fingers,
right?
For the era, Sagittarius is the hunter, so that was where that one came.
That's pretty cool.
And then Scorpio is like real sharp, real pointed. You can use this as a self-defense weapon if needed.
Good to know. I might have to.
And the story with Virgo. So my daughter is a Virgo, and she's my world. And she is a spitting image, mini me made over. So a Virgo is a small Gemini for that reason. But when you think of Virgo, it's Virgin sign. It's a feminine sign. So I made it small. I made it petite and it will post. That is my only model that posts.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really cool. Very good. Tell me, before we wrap this up, after Baltimore, what pen shows are you going to be at this year?
So after Baltimore, I go to Atlanta the 1st of April, and then I'll be in Chicago the 1st of May. And in June, I take June off.
Well-deserved break.
Well, it's not because I wanted to. It's work related. It was hard for me to get off in June. July I'll be in Portland. August in DC. August in San Fran. And then September will be Orlando. And I'm hoping, I'm not on the schedule, but I'm hoping to maybe pick up Ohio or Dallas.
That'd be very
if
cool.
It works out.
You got your whole year planned out. Wow.
It's
Amazing.
Nonstop.
Exactly.
So LA was good. I just got back from LA 2 weeks ago.
Very nice.
California show. It was a good show. It was my first time on the West Coast. People were warm and welcoming. It was really a fun time.
And you saw our mutual friend Ben while you were over there.
I did meet Ben face to face. Ben, he's been with me for a while, and
he's such a gem.
It was just so great to hang out with him. And he got an ebonite pen from
very nice
101 that I tinkered with. The finials were different materials and stuff. So it's good to know that people appreciate your work, and it's good to know that special materials, special things that you make go to people that you know that they're going to appreciate. So I know them.
Definitely.
So I'm glad you got that.
Well, Bart, thank you for taking the time to come and talk to me.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure for me as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I didn't know anything about Bart other than that you were super into his pens. And I went into the smaller room where the independent designer people were, and he called me by name and introduced himself, and he was the nicest guy. I really, really liked him. I love his voice.
That southern accent is so charming.
So sweet and friendly, and I was an immediate fan, even though I'm not really into that kind of pen, but he was just such a nice person. And I think it's so cool that you're able to interview him and show that, again, the full world of all these different types of pens and people.
I thought was cool.
What?
Your interview with Myk Daigle. I knew of Myk peripherally.
You never met him,
but I never met him until exactly. I knew he was a vintage guy, but I really didn't know what that meant until you sat down and talked with him.
That interview that we're about to watch was so much fun. I felt like it kind of got out of control because I didn't want to stop talking to him. I was having so much fun, and I didn't know how to end the interview because I was just caught up in it.
You two had like a very kindred spirit vibe going on. I love the connection.
Myk is an amazing guy. I really, really like him. And I like getting to know him even more thanks to him agreeing to come on the show.
Yeah. So let's take a look at that interview.
Welcome to our store, Myk. This is Myk Daigle, a.k.a. Mad Mercantile.
Yeah.
And you're a vintage pen seller, and you're in town for the Baltimore Pen Show.
I am, yeah. I'm looking forward to it very much.
Thank you so much for coming to see us at Pen Boutique.
Thank you for asking me.
I'm really excited to have you here,
And
Myk.
I saw in some of your videos, I've decided that you should have this because,
A friend
now
for
you have,
Battle Cat?
Yes.
Look at that.
Yeah.
They won't battle each other.
No, they're probably on the same side, I would
they'll
imagine. Yeah, they'll be friends.
That's so cool. Yeah, for viewers who don't know, the reason we have Battle Cat back there is Leila and I started the Battle of the Pens, and we always have Battle Cat at the end.
I didn't. I just saw it on your video, and I thought that you had to have it.
Yours is brighter than the old one.
Maybe it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're beautiful together.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's strength in numbers.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Look, it's almost the same color as this old Parker Dual Fold.
You're right.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Do you think Battle Cat is made out of the same material as a
Wouldn't it
Parker
be nice?
Dual Fold? So I can't really remember when I first met you. I don't remember whether it was at the DC Pen Show or the Baltimore Pen Show. It was a few years ago. And I remember I stopped by your table a few times and just thought you were a really interesting person. And I always wanted to get to know you better, but we didn't have time to talk that much until after the Philly show recently.
Right.
We hung out a bit after hours with Bill and Harsh and David Fu, who's the guy that named Penelope.
Oh, good.
And that was really fun talking to you.
Well, thank you. It was lovely talking with you too.
I just
And
want to talk more. First of all, though, I want to talk about something that I've always been fascinated by, and you told me the story of it at a pen show. The spelling of your nickname, Myk, is really cool. So tell me how that.
Well, I
you
learned
got
it. I
that
learned it.
spelling.
Why it could sound like an I.
Yeah.
And I went home and said, "Mom and Dad, I want to spell my name like this now." And they said yes,
All right.
because it's like my pen, my car, Myk.
I love that.
Some people get confused and say Mick, but it's Myk.
It can be confusing.
Yeah, well,
So I
that's okay.
wanted
We
to
live to confuse
get
people,
that right
don't
off the
we?
bat.
Yeah.
It's Myk, but it's spelled M-Y-K.
Yes.
I like that. So how long have you been going to pen shows and collecting vintage pens? Or those are two different questions.
2012, I think, was my first show.
So did you go to pen shows before you sold
Yes.
pens? So
Yeah.
just to visit them?
I went to visit because I like pens.
Sure.
And so I started doing all this because I was eBaying. And then I went to an antique shop, and there was a box of pens at the antique shop. And I said, well, this is be good stuff for eBay.
Okay.
And then the bidding went nuts. People went, I went, whoa, there's pens. People are loving these pens. One of them was one of these, a Parker T1. And I didn't even know what it was. And then till the bidding went crazy. And then that's my phone. Well, we'll just stop that.
Later,
And
we'll cut that out.
the
I like your ringtone.
Thank you. And then, so then I wanted more pens, and I Google, and there's Chicago Pen Show. I said, they have pen shows?
Okay.
And so I went to the Chicago Pen Show.
But you didn't live anywhere near that, or
No,
did you
but
live in that area? You just
no,
traveled to
yeah.
go there. Okay.
And I came home with a big box of pens,
Wow.
and then they proceeded to sell.
And when did you learn to fix the pens
That
up?
was the next thing.
you
Someone said,
got all
Mike,
these
you
pens.
could get more money for these things if you fix them. And but I always liked working on mechanical things.
Okay.
Small mechanical things, intricate stuff, and I,
Cool.
and so I slowly learned to repair them. I met the late great Susan Worth at the pen shows. Some people might remember her. She was a legend, and she still is a legend. Amazing, amazing. We lost her back in 2017.
Oh, wow.
And she was some people call her the Queen of Ink, and she took me under her wing and
Oh,
taught me a lot of things.
I
And
love that.
yes, she would. That's where I learned to have the testing stations at my tables,
Okay.
because that's something she did. And you, it's like you can't try on shoes over the internet.
No, exactly.
You could try them on that store, though.
I
And
love
the same
that
thing with pens,
comparison.
and how the pen fits in your hand and how it feels in the paper for you. That's a very personal thing.
Yeah, so that's something I wanted to ask you about. A lot of our viewers maybe have never even been to a pen show. Let's say someone's at a pen show and they come up to your table. What happens? Like, what do you talk about? What
I asked
what
them
do they
if they'd
do?
like to write with a 100-year-old pen,
Okay.
and some go, and they sure, and then they haven't. Could I bring a chair to the other side of the table?
Nice.
Put the notepad down and let them and ink. And at the show I have a bunch inked up,
Okay.
ready to go, and they can play,
They can just
and they can
play.
sit and take their time. You're not obligated to buy anything. I just want you to
And
learn.
you just kind of guide
Some people
them
do like to
through.
buy things. It does help because then I can make my way to the next pen show.
course.
But it's more about getting people to understand. And one of the things I tell people, and we do the seminars too, the vintage pens for the modern user, is that when this pen was new, there was no ballpoint pen.
Right.
There was no free
Rollerball
ballpoint pen that
pen
came
or-
from the bank or something.
Right.
You needed a fountain pen. If you wanted to write with ink, you did it with a fountain pen or an old dip pen from
Yeah.
And so people knew how to fill them. They knew how to ink them. They knew how to clean them. They knew how to service them, basically. And if they didn't know how to repair the insides, there was a shop for that. There were pen shops for that.
Okay.
And it's I'm grateful that there's still a pen shop here. This is a beautiful store. And so it's like and you would have that pen for years sometimes. And like an old car, once in a while, you need to put fan belts and tires and get an oil change.
Sure.
Same thing with the pen. Might need a new bladder or a nib alignment instead of a front end alignment.
So what is the bladder? That's like kind of like a little balloon, like
it's inside the
thing
pen. I didn't bring one here, but it's what's inside the pen. When
and
you
that's
lift
where
up,
the ink is stored.
yeah, it's like think of it like a little balloon that's not blown up. And when you pick up the lever, there's a pressure bar that squishes the balloon flat, displaces all the air. And when you close it, the ink will draw up into the pen. Ink. Yeah. And then you just, wipe it with just like filling a modern pen with a converter, you wipe the extra ink off and away you go. You're ready to rock and roll,
So you do a lot of pen shows every year, right? How many typically do you think you do?
I didn't count.
How many pen? Okay.
I don't know, 10. I don't know.
10.
I don't, maybe more.
A lot.
I can list them off.
That's a number.
Easier than counting them.
It's a big number.
Yeah.
Okay. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So you've been to a couple really cool ones recently that you told me about Philly, not in the U.S.
Yeah, the pen shows I've been to not in USA have been Barcelona, Bologna, Italy, and most recently the Madrid. Okay. Alfonso, actually, he's going to be at the Baltimore show, and who runs that Madrid show, and the Istanbul Pen Fest, which is really an experience.
Cool.
Yeah, it's something else. It's in a palace. It's right on the Bosphorus.
Wow.
It's an amazing show, and it's mostly modern pens, but they have an area for us vintage guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like corded off. You have to.
It's a nice room, and they make us custom tablecloths and everything, and big signs that say vintage. They put a lot into it, and but it's fun, and everybody got assigned a translator this year to help.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you have somebody with you. That's so cool.
I'm still friends with her on Instagram. Yeah.
Nice. So how long did you stay in Istanbul when you went to the show?
About a week or so.
Nice.
Because we stay a couple extra days and go around the city and the Egyptian bazaars and it's just the mosques, and it's just an amazing city.
Wow. And you like to do that when you travel to other shows too, right? You like to visit the area.
Sometimes more than others. Yeah. Sometimes it's in and out. Yeah,
okay.
But yeah. But usually a lot of the L.A. or San Francisco, stay a couple days just to visit the city. Yeah. Things like that. Yeah.
Okay. I have a question.
Yeah.
One of my favorite customers, Eric Arnold, I was telling him I was going to be able to interview you, and he wanted me to ask this question, and I think it's a really interesting question. He said that he's heard vintage pens can develop a personality. What does that mean exactly?
Well,
a personality.
I think that aspect comes from if you use it every day, and it's your pen, you get a feel. You get a feel for where how the nib hits the paper. It's like a car. Sometimes can have a personality. I keep comparing pens to cars because I come from the car world before.
Okay.
But if you look at some old pens, you see the nib is worn a certain way
because of the way the person that
always would hold it that way, so you get like a little flat, and it's like a little sweet spot, and that was that person's hold, the way that person used the pen.
Because the nibs are gold and they're soft, so they
the tipping, even though the tipping is harder, but it gets like a little flat on it from writing, and I don't know, maybe it's the paper they used or something. Actually, old paper is fantastic. If you find vintage railroad logs, they're gorgeous paper to write on. But I think that's where the personality comes from, I think, and the affection you have for it.
Yeah.
Do
you ever name your pens?
No.
I do.
Yeah, good.
Not every pen. I'm behind on coming up with my names, but I do name them.
Well, it has a name, and then I'm sure you. I bet you they're wonderful names.
They are, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of these pens that you have
Yeah.
that you sell and collect yourself, I assume. Do you have some that are just your own and you're never going to sell them because you love them so much?
Yes,
or-
I have many
Okay.
of them like that.
I assumed so.
Some were gifts, some were, as you say, named them pets. You know, they were pets. I'm like, you have a good memory. This was my favorite pen for a long time. So yes, and I have a collection. I have collections. I collect the Parker Frontiers. Actually, I've got them. Everything from the factory clear ones that never were actually released.
Okay.
They call them lunchbox pens. The people that worked at the factory would test the molds basically with clear plastic to make sure the inside of the
okay.
mold worked fine. And these were a perfectly functional pen barrel, and then people would take them home and make pens out of them.
Why are they called lunchbox?
Because you take them home in your lunchbox
Oh,
at the end of the
smuggle
day.
it out.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
And so I have the clear versions in nickel and well, I call it nickel, chrome and gold, and then I have the fountain pen, the rollerball, the pencil, and then all their colors, and then there's some factory like prototypes, and then I had one that a very artistic gentleman, I can't think of his name, did like radon on, which is unusual for a Parker Frontier to get that kind of attention.
Okay.
And I also collect the Chinese, I can't even say it right, Closion pens with the glass.
Yeah.
I have
I
a
know what you
whole
mean,
tray
yeah.
of those, and I'm fascinated by them, so I have a bunch of those.
Do you have like one all-time favorite, or is that impossible to pick?
My favorite bounces around. Right now it's this Mont Blanc 644 from the 1950s. It's a beautiful, flexible nib and a piston filler.
That's lovely. It's just so simple and classy looking.
Yeah, it's a good little pen.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it does the thing.
So where do you get all these pens? Where do you find them?
Believe it or not, at pen shows for the most part.
You buy them from other people? And
Well,
say,
we
"I
show up
want this
early.
pen," or-
We show up early, us as pen people,
the special
and we trade
vintage guys
amongst
trade.
each others.
Okay.
And and sometimes people bring pens collections into shows
Sure,
that they want to sell.
Like they get it in
And
an
this was
estate
my
or
yeah,
whatever.
and
Okay.
and then I take them, I bring them home, and refurbish them. I'm the type to, even if I buy a pen that says someone tells me it's refurbished, I refurbish it again because I
like
want
that.
to the buyer from me to know that pen's good,
Sure.
and I got all confidence in it, that it's clean and ready to go.
Do you get excited when you get a new kind that you've never had before and you get to play around with it and
Sometimes,
figure it out?
yeah. They're a lot of fun. They're interesting. And what's fun is old engravings. The stories on them. I've had them with engravings from, like a crew gave it to their army commander.
Oh.
One said from the bomb squad, engraved on the. And this one here, where is it? There's one here that celebrates a radio festival in Bristol, England.
No clip?
Yeah.
Or
no,
is it missing? The
often,
clip?
no. A lot of early pens didn't
Doesn't
have
the
clips.
clip. It's got a little hole for
That's a vent.
a vent.
These are little vents. You see them in many early pens, even the Parker here. They were the little hole. People all
What
the
is
time
that
ask
for?
about the little holes
Yeah.
because you wear it on your body, right? That's the idea.
Oh,
you wear,
so the
and
ink
you're
won't
warm,
expand
and
and-
the heat inside the
Yes.
cap will turn into a like a little greenhouse or something, and so the little vent will air it out.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
the idea. In fact, some of the early pens said fill the holes with wax so that your pen wasn't dry out if you're going to leave it at home on your desk.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So they're full of little nitty gritty details, and I'm sorry to bore you with them all.
You're not boring me. This is really interesting. So, what would you say to someone who is not into vintage pens? They only own modern pens, but they want to try their first vintage pen. Like,
What I say is to try it. That's
and
what I really would say is to
Okay.
try it, to sit down and play. Play. Take the pen, write with it, and if it's not for you, try a different one.
Is there a certain pen you'd recommend that's a good introductory pen for vintage, or not really?
Everybody's going to have a different answer for that, but I like the old 1920s Watermans. I like the Parkers from the 30s. It's what type of nib you like the feel of.
Okay.
If you like the look, some people are all about the nib.
Sure.
They just care about the nib. They don't care what the pen looks like. Some people really want a pretty pen, something that looks. Some people like gold. Some people like silver. Some people like colors, and to me it's what matters is how it looks to you. That's your first. Then how it feels in your hand, and then how the nib is.
Interesting. So the nib is last for you.
It's those are
the big three.
Yeah,
But how,
and it's
how
like
it
again,
looks, how
some
it
pens
feels
I
in the
sell,
nib. Yeah.
these they're not pretty. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
But this has got one heck of a nib, and it's
Well, oh my God.
yeah, it's a big flexible
That is
large
crazy.
nib, and it's some people don't really care about how the pen looks.
Right.
And,
But other people probably only care about how it looks. They just want something that's beautiful to look at.
there are collectors who will buy a pen from me and never ink it.
Sure.
They just put it in their
I'm sure.
collection. Yeah, it goes all over the place.
Pens
but it's
want
fun.
to be
Yeah.
used, but I could see
Yeah.
that some pens are just especially beautiful.
Yeah, and some are like these are very well preserved colors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that Battle Cat color.
The
one.
Battle
I'm
Cat.
sure
This is
there
now
must be
forever
some
now
that
the
are-
Battle Cat Parker.
I bet there's ones like that that are really faded
Yeah.
and don't look beautiful like that one there.
Yeah.
So, okay, do you want me to try one of these pens? Since
we
that's what
could.
you do at shows.
We could.
Sure, let's do it. Let's check these notes. Get out the notebook. So your favorite ink
Yeah,
is
Waterman Inspired Blue,
Inspired Blue,
which used to be called South Seas Blue.
that's one of my favorite inks too. I have one pen that always loves that ink.
We have this is the first time since I restored it. Get it now. We got to get it in there good. Well, we can actually just fill it,
I'm
can't we?
going to flip this around so you can reach it better.
So you
So
5
you're
or 6
using the
seconds.
lever.
Yeah, close the lever. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do it again for you. You get your fingernail under there. Lift up the lever. Make sure the ink's deep enough. The nib has to be completely
Okay.
submerged, just like a modern pen.
Sure.
Close it. Count 5 or 6 seconds.
Okay.
And now it's full of ink.
And you wipe it off.
And you wipe off the extra ink, and it should do everything it's supposed to do.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And what kind of pen is this?
That's a Waterman 15 PSF, which is actually a predecessor to the 55. And that's the first time it's been inked since being restored.
Wow. I like the sound it makes. It kind of reminds me of a Falcon nib from Pilot. The feel of it. It's not dramatically different from that.
Yeah.
There's some vintage flex nibs that are like way more flexible than
There's
this
some
too,
that are,
right?
I don't like the term so much, but
Wet noodle.
Wet noodle.
Okay. That kind scare me.
Yeah, I mean, this one is closer to that. But what stopped flexible nibs was the fact that people needed carbon paper.
What do you mean?
Offices
How did
needed
that
to make
affect
copies,
it?
and you can't make a copy with a flexible nib.
Oh, because you
doesn't-
can't push harder?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
And then the second thing that ruined handwriting was the ballpoint pen.
I love that nib. Can I try a wet noodle just to scare myself?
This isn't super wet noodle, but you can just give that one a.
This is a skyline I'm
Yeah,
trying
it's a ever sharp skyline.
Okay. Well, this one's not too bad.
No, I don't have anything crazy noodly right now.
Not noodly enough. These are cool.
This might be a little more noodly. But to me, it's not about the race to the widest line or the softest nib. It's about the expression you get out of it, the line variation and the control of the nib.
These are so fun to use. I love it.
Anyway, yeah, they are fun.
So do you have any other special
Ooh,
favorites
I obviously
here?
didn't take the ink out of that.
Oh, okay.
Other special? No, they're all my favorites.
Well, I know, but anything
they're-
special you want to show
See,
me?
ink happens.
Of course.
Yeah.
Love getting
And
inky.
I don't know, special. I mean, these are beautiful. I love the collectors call these striped duofolds.
Yes, we were talking about
These are
that
vacuum
one.
fillers, which is a cool design.
Yeah, the one I have is like that.
Yeah.
So that's a vacuum fill. I didn't
Yeah.
realize
There's
that
a
was
bladder
vacuum
inside
fill.
that or a diaphragm, and it creates a suction every time you do that, and it fills up the pen.
Cool.
And
I own a vacuum filler.
You
I
do,
didn't even know it.
I bring it to the show. Maybe
I will,
we can get.
Yeah.
And then this is more of a classic Parker Vacuumatic.
Okay.
These were that again at the time they were tools. You needed to write, and so they weren't. Once in a while they did make larger ones. It did happen. This is the famous Wall Eversharp Deco band.
Okay.
And this was at the time a really large pen, right. And now the people that are remaking the Deco band, it's even larger because of course but they're beautiful. That's another.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's a factory flexible nib, and it's a large pen, and this is large. This was large too at the time, dual fold senior. That's
what
another
material
one.
is
Really,
this made out
it's
of?
a celluloid. Earlier celluloid. I have other larger pens. They're just out in the cases, but. So that's essentially the same pen as this one. This one's just plain black.
And what are the Ripple pens made out of?
These are ebonite.
Ebonite, okay.
Yeah. Or hard rubber.
So, yeah.
Most of them you come across are just black hard rubber.
So what materials are vintage pens normally made out of? Are those the two most common ones?
Most common you see celluloid and hard rubber.
Okay.
Once in a while you come into casein, which is like a milk plastic. And maybe occasionally Bakelite and some other oddballs. And metal.
Right.
All metal pens, too. Sterling silver.
Yeah.
And once in a while, Great Wall titanium. But back then, they were, ebonite was the big thing until they started celluloid in the late 1920s.
Mm-hmm. So some of the pens that you have here are ring tops. Those people would wear around their neck. Women would wear it around their neck, and men would have it like on a watch chain or something. Yeah,
sometimes men would put them on a. So a lot of times they had a suffix V, so they meant vest pocket.
Cool.
But they are. I was at the Orlando Pen Show, and there was a bunch of ladies. They all wanted one. Because they wanted to have and they all wanted to be like each other, so they all bought one, and it was lovely because they have some incredible little nibs in these too. These 1920s Watermans, sterling silver.
We're gonna make people that watch For Your Penjoyment want to go to the pen show.
You should try this
fun little pen.
You should try the nib in this one. You should at least try it.
Oh my gosh!
Dip it in the ink and give it a whirl.
Look how little this is. It's like it's so skinny. It's crazy. The nib is smaller than my pinky
but
nail.
But it performs.
Sideways.
It does what it's supposed
There's
to do.
There's ink in
No,
here?
not yet. But you just at the show I will ink up a lot of these.
Oh, it's so tiny. It's easy to dip it too far. All right, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, it'll flex too.
Oh my gosh, it does flex.
Yeah, running out of ink.
Yeah, I didn't. I was nervous about it. Oh, that's
but it's cute. It's a little diamond point.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we could talk about this all day.
Yeah, we could keep going, but it's up to you.
I guess I gotta call this to an end, or the whole show will be just us talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's been such a pleasure. I wanted to mention one more cool fact about you that I found out in Philly. You're a big Star Trek fan, just like I am.
Oh, I love Star Trek.
I love that.
I'm looking forward to the next season of Strange New Worlds.
I am too, very much.
And
Captain Pike's cool hair.
The hair, yes.
The hair is the star.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and I love rewatching some of the old movies and the old all Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Myk.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So when we had done that interview, I had never really just sat down at Myk's table like we talked about in the interview. Mm-hmm. But I did that during this show, and it was amazing. It was just so low-key. He wasn't trying to pressure me to buy anything. Mm-hmm. He was just kind of sharing his excitement about all these different pens, kind of like he did in the interview.
Yeah.
And just, sharing his knowledge and the excitement about the world of pens that are the history of the pens that we sell at Pen Boutique.
Sure.
You know, like we wouldn't have these pens that we are into now. You know, I'm not into vintage pens. I think they're really interesting. I'm not going to buy a whole bunch of them. That's not what I'm into.
Sure.
I like using modern pens. But I think they're fascinating to hear about and to look at. They're beautiful. And it's just so cool to talk to someone like him who's so approachable and such a friendly guy. He doesn't make you feel intimidated or anything. Even if you don't know that much about the topic, he doesn't look down on you.
He makes the information very accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of encounters like that at the show that were very one-on-one and low-key. And that's the way I connect with people. Not in a big group, not in a, you know.
Those personal
It's those
interactions.
personal connections. And I think that's really special. And I really like doing that at pen shows with different people.
Same. So I want to thank everyone who consented to be interviewed by us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a pleasure having you on our show, and hopefully we'll have you on again in the future.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we're nearing the end of the episode. You know what that means.
Mailbag!
Good womp.
This is a new mailbag. It's not all crunched like the old one.
Not yet, anyway.
It's my very special new mailbag.
So we got a couple of pieces of mail from you folks.
Not too many, but a nice amount.
Yeah.
So, oops, I didn't put them in order like I usually do.
Uh-oh. Rockridge Chess Club?
No.
Oh, this is from Eric. I'm sorry.
Arnold.
Pen Boutique. This is to the Pen Boutique team.
I know. Not just Penjoyment?
No.
I don't know. Is it acceptable or not? I don't remember what it said.
I was browsing through postcards this morning looking for the right card to send to a post crosser whose address I had received and ran across this one.
Okay.
Hard to think of a more appropriate card for everyone on your team. You're all educators after a
fashion.
passion.
Okay.
And your passion for your subject is an exceptional depth of knowledge is evident.
That's a good tie into our seminar.
Laura will know this pen and ink.
I will.
Signed, Eric, stomped on Poet Laureate.
What's the pen and ink? I will know it. Eric. Oh, it's Sailor Sibuko.
Yep.
Definitely. I don't know what the pen is, though. Sorry, Eric.
But thank you for that card. We will share it with the team.
Yes. And I think he sent this during February, and it's got a Black History stamp on it.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Excellent.
All right. What else do we have here? Oh, okay.
Okay.
We do have a Rockridge Chess Club.
Sure.
Want me to read this one?
Yeah.
I love the handwriting. What is this? What's on here?
It looks very Turkish.
Oh,
Turkish
it's
barbershop.
A Turkish barbershop.
Yeah.
Oh, it says it on the front?
Uh-huh.
Okay. It says, adjusted for inflation, a proper shave and a haircut will run you near
Pert near 76 bits?
instead of shaving a haircut.
Yeah.
2 bits?
I
That?
yeah.
Okay. The price went up.
That darn
Does
inflation.
it have something to do with your new haircut?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, what about my shave, though?
I don't know. Rockridge Chess Club. And it has a piece hand drawn.
Thank you, Rockridge Chess Club.
Thanks, Rockridge.
How'd you get to be so cool? I love their postcards.
Rockridge Chess Club is so cool. All right.
And
Okay. This one was given to Christy at the pen show
okay.
for us
Okay.
after the person that wrote it attended our seminar.
Okay. Oh, this is a beautiful card.
It's beautiful.
Truly beautiful.
I love that color. It's kind of matches our set.
I knew this was Penjoyment purple as soon as I opened it up. Dear Laura and Leila, a huge congratulations to you both on your fantastic Fountain Pen 101 seminar. Though I'm on the deep end of pens, I still learned a lot of new things and very much enjoyed the Q&A. It was so cool to see a live for your Penjoyment podcast. Please tell Shreya I'm sorry that I got nervous when asked for an interview. I tend to blank when asked and need time to think. Once I gathered my thoughts, it was too late, but she seemed to have gotten a lot of good responses. I cannot do what you both did. I'm a public speaking wreck. So again, huge respect. Thank you both, as well as the entire Pen Boutique team, for your kindness and friendship. Love, Bernice. Written with a fountain pen and the biggest nib I've ever seen. Haha. And Penjoyment purple.
What?
This is the only part that lost me.
I don't know.
Regardless.
Thank you, Bernice.
Thank you, Bernice. That's
That was
so sweet.
I love Bernice. She's wonderful.
She is delightful. She is a gorgeous soul.
Yes, she is.
Well, folks, we're at the end of the episode
Already? Okay.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you'd like to be notified when we upload, as well as Inkspill. Thank you, Myk Daigle, for our second battle cat.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. We do have a store Discord. I'll post the invite link below. And we love getting your mail.
Please send us more mail so the new mailbag can get broken in.
Womp.
Literally.
Womp. As always, Laura, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, it has, Leila. I'm excited for our next episode.
It's going to be great.
Of course.
And as always, keep writing. And we'll see you next time.